You slept 8 hours last night, maybe even 9. You did everything right. Early to bed, phone on the nightstand, blackout curtains drawn, and yet you woke up and the heaviness was still there, sitting on your chest like a stone. That exhaustion you feel, it is not physical. Your body has been resting, but something deeper has not. Something beneath the muscles, beneath the bones, beneath the breath itself, has been running on empty for longer than you realize. You are not tired. You are spiritually depleted. And you are far from alone. More than 75% of workers worldwide now report experiencing burnout, not just stress, burnout. The World Health Organization estimates this costs the global economy $322 billion every single year. But here is what those numbers do not capture. They measure lost productivity. They do not measure lost meaning. Because this is not about working too hard. Millions of people who barely work at all feel the same heaviness. Students feel it, retirees feel it, stay-at-home parents feel it. The exhaustion is not correlated with effort. It is correlated with emptiness. The average person now spends nearly 7 hours a day staring at a screen. 7 hours. They pick up their phone 58 times every single day. And each time they give away a small piece of their attention, their presence, their inner stillness, not to anything that nourishes them. To feeds, notifications, arguments that do not matter, and content designed to keep them scrolling, not to keep them whole. And here is the part that most people have not considered yet. Your attention is not just a cognitive resource, it is a spiritual one. Every ancient wisdom tradition understood this. The Buddhists called it mindfulness, the practice of guarding where your attention goes. The Stoics called it prososhi, the discipline of attention as the foundation of inner freedom. The Taoists spoke of wu wei, effortless action that arises only when the mind is still and undivided. They all arrived at the same truth from different mountains in different centuries. Where your attention goes, your life force follows. Scatter your attention across 1,000 distractions and you scatter yourself. You do not lose energy, you lose coherence, you lose the thread that connects you to who you actually are. This is why sleep does not fix it. You cannot rest your way out of a crisis of meaning. You cannot nap your way back to purpose. The exhaustion is not in your body. It is in the gap between the life you are living and the life your soul is asking for. Now here is where this gets really interesting. Neuroscience is finally catching up to what monks have known for thousands of years. Researchers at Harvard found that just 8 weeks of meditation, 27 minutes a day, physically changed the structure of the brain. The prefrontal cortex, the part responsible for awareness, focus, and decision-making, grew thicker. The amygdala, the brain's alarm center that drives anxiety and reactivity, actually shrank. Think about that. The part of you that reacts to every notification, every headline, every minor conflict, it physically shrinks when you sit in silence. And the part of you that sees clearly, that responds instead of reacts, that knows what matters, it grows. Another study found that just 4 days of meditation reduced cortisol reactivity by 25%. 4 days, not 4 years, not a monastery. 4 days of sitting still, watching the breath, and doing nothing. EEG studies show that within the first 10 minutes of meditation, alpha wave activity increases. These are the brain waves associated with calm alertness, the state where you feel both relaxed and fully awake, the state that most people have not experienced since childhood. The ancient monks did not have brain scans, but they had something better. They had direct experience. They sat with their own minds long enough to see the pattern, that the noise outside is always a reflection of the noise inside, and the only way to quiet the outer world is to quiet the inner one first. Marcus Aurelius, the most powerful man in the ancient world, the emperor of Rome, wrote in his private journal words that sound like they were written yesterday. He wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." He governed an empire, and yet the practice he returned to every day was not strategy, it was stillness. So what does this actually look like in practice? It is simpler than you think and harder than you expect. It looks like 5 minutes. That is all. 5 minutes of sitting every morning before you reach for the phone, before the world rushes in with its demands, its opinions, its urgency. You sit, you breathe, you watch the thoughts come, and you let them go without following them. You do not try to empty your mind. You just stop feeding it. And in that space, something begins to return. Not energy, something quieter, clarity, presence, the feeling that you are actually here in your own life instead of watching it scroll past. This is not about becoming a monk. It is not about leaving the modern world behind. It is about creating one space, one moment, one anchor in your day where you are fully, completely present. And here is what shifts when you commit to this. The heaviness begins to lift, not all at once, but slowly, the way dawn replaces darkness. You start to notice things you had stopped seeing. The weight of a warm cup in your hands, the sound of wind through trees, the feeling of being alive, not as a concept, but as an experience. People who meditate consistently for 8 weeks report not just lower stress, but higher purpose. They do not just feel calmer, they feel clearer about what matters. The fog that modern life wraps around everything, it begins to thin, and what is underneath has been there all along, waiting. You do not need to change your entire life. You do not need to quit your job, sell your possessions, or move to a mountain. You just need 5 minutes every day before the noise. The world will not slow down for you. The notifications will not stop. The demands will keep coming. But that is not the point. The point is that you, in the middle of all of it, can choose stillness. You can choose to return to yourself, again and again, as many times as you need. The exhaustion was never about doing too much. It was about being too little present, too little connected, too little you. The noise will always be there, but so will the silence. You just have to choose it.